Commander Zethkar pressed his four hands against the control panel of his ship. His large eyes stared at the empty space ahead. The wandering star moved slowly through the dark. This was Sector 7749 Gamma, a place no one was allowed to go. For 200 years, the Galactic Council had marked this sector with red warnings. The file said only one thing: entry forbidden by Council decree. No one knew why. No one asked questions. Until now. Zethkar was a Vorthak. His people were the best explorers in the galaxy. They had mapped more star systems than any other species. But even they had never come here. The fear of the Council kept everyone away. "Commander," called Yix from her station. Her tentacles moved fast over the buttons. "I'm seeing something strange." Zethkar walked over to her. Yix was his navigator. She had never been wrong about space readings before. Her face looked worried. "What is it?" he asked. "The third planet in this system. It's giving off energy readings that don't make sense." The main screen lit up. A blue and green world filled the view. White clouds swirled around it. It looked like many other planets they had seen. But something felt different. Prism, the ship's computer, appeared as a glowing figure. "Commander, these energy readings are very unusual. They show advanced technology, not old ruins. Active systems." Zethkar's mandibles clicked together. This was what his people did when they were nervous. "Show me more details." The screen changed. Now they could see the planet more clearly. There were structures on the surface, big ones, and lights that moved in patterns. "Sir," Yix said, her voice getting higher, "there are ships moving around the planet. Many ships. They're flying in organized groups." The bridge became very quiet. Everyone stopped working. They all stared at the screen. If there was life here, advanced life, why had the Council hidden it? Zethkar made a choice. Open communication channels. His crew looked at him with surprise. They were breaking the biggest rule in the galaxy, but they were explorers. Finding new life was what they lived for. "This is Commander Zethkar of the Vorthak Exploration Corps." He spoke into the microphone. "We are aboard the vessel Wandering Star. We mean no harm. Please respond if you can hear this message." They waited. Space was silent around them. Zethkar counted the seconds. 10, 20, 30. Then a voice came through their speakers. It was clear and calm. The words were in perfect galactic standard, the language all species use to talk to each other. "Unknown vessel, you are in restricted space. Please tell us why you are here and show us your permission codes." The crew looked at each other in shock. This voice didn't sound afraid or surprised. It sounded like they had been expecting visitors. Zethkar cleared his throat. "This is Commander Zethkar. We didn't know there was an active civilization in this sector. We request permission to make peaceful contact." Another pause. This one felt longer. When the voice came back, there was something that might have been amusement in it. "Commander Zethkar, welcome to the Sol System. We are the Terrans of Earth. We have been watching your ship for the past 6 hours. You may come closer to our planet. But you should know something important. You are the first visitors to enter this system in 237 years. We have much to talk about." Zethkar sat down hard in his chair. His legs felt weak. The Terrans had been watching them for 6 hours? How was that possible? Their ship had the best sensors in the galaxy. They should have detected any scanning. "They knew we were coming before we even saw their planet," whispered Yix. Prism flickered. "Commander, I have been running scans since we arrived. I cannot detect the source of their sensor systems. Their technology appears to be very advanced." Zethkar looked at his crew. They had come here looking for answers about why the Council had forbidden this place. Instead, they had found a mystery much bigger than they had imagined. "Set course for the planet," he ordered. "But be ready for anything." As the wandering star moved toward Earth, Zethkar wondered what they would find. There, the Terrans sounded friendly, but they also sounded like they had been keeping secrets for a very long time. The blue world grew larger on their screen. It looked peaceful and beautiful. but Zethkar now knew that looks could be very deceiving. These Terrans had technology that could watch ships from far away without being detected. They spoke perfect galactic standard even though no one was supposed to know they existed. Most importantly, they had been hidden from the galaxy for over 2 centuries. The Council had made sure of that. "Commander," Yik said quietly, "what do you think we're going to find down there?" Zethkar watched Earth fill their view screen. "I think we're going to find out why the most powerful organization in the galaxy was afraid of one small planet." The ship moved closer to Earth, carrying a crew of explorers toward answers they weren't sure they wanted to know. The space station that welcomed the wandering star was nothing like what Zethkar had ever seen. Most stations in the galaxy were built from metal and plastic. This one looked alive. The walls seemed to move and change shape. They were made of something that looked like metal, but bent and twisted like a living thing. "Welcome to Sol Station," said a voice over their radio. "Please dock at Bay 7. We have prepared a place for your ship." Zethkar watched through the window as their ship moved into the docking bay. The walls of the bay moved to fit their ship perfectly. It was like the station was hugging their vessel. "How do they do that?" asked Yix. Her tentacles were shaking with excitement and fear. "I don't know," Zethkar replied. "But we're about to find out." When they left their ship, a human was waiting for them. He was smaller than Zethkar but stood very straight. His dark hair was cut short and his eyes were sharp and intelligent. "I am Captain Minho Kim," the human said. He spoke in perfect galactic standard, but his accent was strange. "I am the diplomatic contact for Earth. Welcome to our system." Zethkar bowed in the traditional Vorthak way. "I am Commander Zethkar. Thank you for allowing us to visit. We have many questions." Minho smiled. "I'm sure you do. Please follow me. We have much to discuss." They walked through halls that seemed to change as they moved. The walls showed pictures of stars and planets. Some of the pictures moved like they were alive. Zethkar noticed that human soldiers stood at different points along the halls. They were trying to look casual, but Zethkar could see they were ready for trouble. "Your station is very unusual," Zethkar said as they walked. "Thank you," Minho replied. "We built it using technology that most of the galaxy hasn't seen yet." They entered a large room with a table in the center. The walls were covered with star maps. Zethkar recognized some of the systems, but many were unknown to him. "Please sit," Minho said. "I know you have questions about why this sector is forbidden. The answer is more complex than you might think." Zethkar sat down carefully. The chair changed shape to fit his body perfectly. "The council records say nothing about why this place is restricted. Only that entry is forbidden." Minho walked to one of the star maps. "Tell me, Commander, what do you know about the Council's early expansion period?" Zethkar thought for a moment. "The standard histories say the Council was founded 300 years ago. 17 species joined together. They expanded across 47 sectors very quickly." "The edited version," Minho said with a slight smile. "The truth is more interesting." He touched the star map, and it changed to show their solar system. "The Council did find us during their expansion. Earth was one of their first contacts with a species that had not yet traveled to other stars. The map showed Earth as it was centuries ago. Zethkar could see primitive rockets and small space stations around the planet. We were still using chemical rockets," Minho continued. "We had just started to explore our own moon. By Council standards, we were very primitive. They watched us for several months. They studied our society and prepared to make contact with us." Zethkar leaned forward. "But they didn't make contact. They marked this sector as forbidden instead." "Yes," Minho said. "Something changed their minds." "What happened?" Yix asked. Minho's expression became more serious. "The Council made a mistake. They thought that because we were stuck on one planet, we couldn't be a threat to their growing empire. They were wrong." He touched the map again. Now it showed a single Council ship moving toward Earth's moon. "They sent one cruiser to make first contact," Minho explained. "It was supposed to be a simple meeting. They would land, meet our leaders, and add us to their records as a primitive species." Zethkar watched the image of the Council ship. "But that's not what happened." "No," Minho said quietly. That's not what happened at all. The image changed to show the council ship stopping suddenly above the moon. Around it, space itself seemed to shimmer and bend. The council ship found itself surrounded, Minho continued. Defense platforms appeared from nowhere. Weapon systems that hadn't been there moments before were suddenly pointing at them from all directions. Zethkar's eyes widened. Impossible. You said your people were primitive. We let them think we were primitive, Minho corrected. We had been preparing for this day for over a century. Preparing for what? Yix asked. Minho turned to face them. For the day when someone from the stars would come to visit us. We knew it would happen eventually. We'd been listening to radio signals from space for a long time. We knew we weren't alone. He walked back to the table. The question was, would our visitors be friendly or hostile? We decided to be ready for both possibilities. Zethkar felt confused. But how could you build such advanced technology without anyone knowing? Because we're very good at keeping secrets, Minho said simply. And because we had been watching the council long before they found us. The room became very quiet. Zethkar realized that everything he thought he knew about this first contact was wrong. The humans hadn't been the primitive species that was discovered. They had been the ones doing the watching. What happened to the council ship? He asked. Minho's smile returned. That's where the real story begins. Minho touched the star map again. The image showed the council cruiser floating above Earth's moon, completely surrounded by human ships and weapons that had appeared from nowhere. The council's biggest mistake, Minho said, was thinking that a species stuck on one planet couldn't be dangerous to their big empire. Zethkar watched the display carefully. The council ship looked very small compared to the human weapons around it. But how did you hide all of this? Yix asked. Our sensors should have detected advanced technology. A new person entered the room. She was a human woman with short black hair and intelligent eyes. She wore the same type of uniform as Minho. This is Lieutenant Gina Park, Minho said. She specializes in our detection systems. Gina bowed politely. Commander Zethkar, the answer to your question is simple. We didn't hide our technology. We hid it in plain sight. She walked to the display and changed the image. Now it showed Earth as it looked from space during the time of first contact. When the Council first scanned our planet, they saw exactly what we wanted them to see, Gina explained. Primitive rockets, small space stations, and a species that was just learning to travel in space. But that wasn't the truth? Zethkar asked. Parts of it were true, Minho said. We did have chemical rockets. We were exploring our moon, but we also had much more advanced technology hidden where the Council couldn't detect it. The display changed to show a cross-section view of space around Earth. Hidden among asteroids and behind the moon were structures that hadn't been visible before. We had been preparing for contact with alien species for over 100 years, Gina continued. We knew that eventually someone would find us. We wanted to be ready. Zethkar's mandibles clicked nervously. You were watching the Council before they found you? Oh yes, Minho said. We detected their ships long before they entered our solar system. We tracked their movements, listened to their communications, and learned their language. That's impossible, Yix said. The Council has the most advanced detection systems in the galaxy. Gina smiled. They do now, but back then they were overconfident. They thought no primitive species could challenge them. The display showed the moment when the Council cruiser tried to land on the moon. Suddenly, the space around it filled with human ships and weapons platforms. Watch this carefully, Minho said. The image played like a recording. The Council ship stopped moving as human vessels appeared from all directions. Some came from behind asteroids. Others seemed to uncloak right in front of the alien ship. Then a voice spoke from the human ships. It was calm and polite, but very firm. To the representatives of the Galactic Council, the voice said in perfect Council standard. We welcome your interest in our species. However, you should know that Earth is currently protected by human space forces. We suggest a formal diplomatic meeting to discuss our shared interests. Zethkar sat back in his chair. They spoke Council standard perfectly. We had been listening to Council communications for decades, Gina explained. We learned your language. studied your culture, and understood your political system long before you knew we existed. The council ship's captain was very surprised, Minho continued. He had expected to find a primitive species that would be amazed by their advanced technology. Instead, he found himself surrounded by ships that were more advanced than his own. The display showed the council captain's response. His voice sounded confused and worried. "This is Captain Vextal of the Council Cruiser Unity. We were not aware that Earth possessed advanced space capabilities. We request immediate communication with your leaders." "That's when we made our first big decision," Minho said. "We could have destroyed the council ship easily. Our weapons were much more powerful than theirs. But we chose a different path." "What did you do?" Sethkar asked. "We invited them to talk," Gina said simply. "We brought their captain to Earth for a private meeting. We showed him some of our technology. We explained that we had been watching the galaxy for a long time." "And what was his reaction?" Minho's expression became more serious. He was terrified, not of our weapons, but of what our existence meant for the council. The display changed to show a recording of the meeting. A tall alien with purple skin sat across from several humans in what looked like a conference room. If other species learned that a primitive planet had technology more advanced than the council, the alien captain was saying, it would cause panic throughout the galaxy. Some would want to ally with you. Others would want to destroy you before you became too powerful. "So you made a deal," Sethkar realized. "We made an agreement," Minho corrected. "The council would mark our system as forbidden territory. No one would be allowed to enter. In exchange, we would remain hidden and not interfere with galactic politics." "But you didn't keep that promise, did you?" Yix asked quietly. Gina and Minho looked at each other. Then Minho smiled. "That depends on how you define interfere," he said. "We promised not to reveal ourselves or make direct contact with other species, but we never promised to stop watching." Sethkar felt a chill run through his body. "You've been watching the entire galaxy for 200 years? "Every day," Minho confirmed. "Every ship, every planet, every political decision. We see everything." Minho led them to a different room. This one was much larger and darker. The walls were covered with screens showing different parts of the galaxy. Sethkar could see star systems he recognized, but also many he had never seen before. "This is our observation center," Minho said. "From here we watch everything that happens in the galaxy." A new person joined them. She was an older human woman with gray hair and tired eyes. She wore a white coat like a scientist. "This is Dr. Hana Lee," Minho said. "She leads our galactic monitoring program." Dr. Lee nodded to them politely. "Commander, what I'm about to show you will change how you think about the galaxy." She walked to a large control panel and touched several buttons. The screens around the room came to life with moving images. "For the past 200 years, Dr. Lee said, humans have been watching every major event in galactic history. Wars, treaties, disasters, discoveries. We've seen it all." One screen showed a battle between two alien fleets. Sethkar recognized it as the Krellin War from 50 years ago. "We watched this war from the beginning," Dr. Lee continued. "We saw how it started over a trade dispute. We watched as both sides made mistakes that killed millions of people." "But you didn't help?" Yix asked. "We couldn't reveal ourselves," Minho replied. "But that doesn't mean we didn't help." Dr. Lee touched another control. A new image appeared showing supply ships moving through space. These supply ships were carrying medical supplies to refugee camps, she explained. The pilots thought they were from a charitable organization on Nexus Prime. They never knew the supplies actually came from Earth. Sethkar stared at the screen. "You've been secretly helping people?" "When we could," Dr. Lee said. "Always carefully. Always without revealing who we really were." Another screen lit up showing a different scene. This one showed scientists working in a laboratory. 3 years ago, a plague hit the Zeranian colonies, Dr. Lee continued. Their doctors couldn't find a cure. Thousands of people were dying every day. "I remember hearing about that," Sethkar said. "The plague stopped suddenly. The Zeranians said they found a cure." "They did find a cure," Minho said with a slight smile. It was delivered to their head scientist by an anonymous messenger. The cure was based on human medical research, but they never knew that. Dr. Lee moved to another control panel. "Show them the vegan incident," she said to someone Zethkar couldn't see. A new image appeared on the main screen. It showed a massive asteroid heading toward a populated planet. "The vegan system," Dr. Lee said. 2 million people lived on that planet. The asteroid would have killed them all. Zethkar remembered this event too. The asteroid changed course at the last minute. The vegans said it was a miracle. "It wasn't a miracle," said a voice from behind them. They turned to see another human entering the room. He was young with bright eyes and confident movements. "This is Captain Jiho Nam," Minho said. "He was the pilot who moved that asteroid." Jiho walked to the screen showing the asteroid. "We've been tracking dangerous space objects for decades. When we saw this one would hit Vega Prime, we had to act." "But how did you move something so large?" Yix asked. "Very carefully," Jiho replied. "We used gravity manipulation technology to change its path slowly. It took 3 months of careful adjustments." "The Vegans never detected your ship?" Zethkar asked. "They detected something," Jiho said. "But our ships use stealth technology that makes us look like space debris or natural phenomena." Dr. Lee called their attention back to the main screen. "These are just small examples. We've prevented 3 major galactic wars by passing information to the right people at the right time." "What kind of information?" Zethkar asked. "Sometimes we warned species about surprise attacks," Minho explained. "Other times we helped them find peaceful solutions to their problems, always secretly, always making it look like they solved the problems themselves." Another screen showed images of different alien species working together on some kind of project. "The Great Alliance of the Outer Rim," Dr. Lee said. 5 species that had been enemies for centuries suddenly decided to work together. The council thought it was amazing. "You helped make that happen?" Yix asked. "We provided information that helped them understand each other better," Minho said. "We showed them how their conflicts were based on misunderstandings and old fears." Zethkar felt overwhelmed. Everything he thought he knew about recent galactic history was wrong. Humans had been involved in almost every major event, but always hidden, always secret. "Why?" he asked. "Why do all this? Why help people you've never met?" Dr. Lee looked at him seriously. "Because we learned something important from watching the galaxy for so long. Most conflicts happen because people don't understand each other. Most disasters happen because no one has enough information to prevent them. We have the technology to watch and help," Minho added. "So we felt responsible for using it wisely." "But there's something else," Dr. Lee said, her voice becoming more serious. "Something we haven't told you yet." She touched a new control and all the screens went dark except one. This screen showed space near Earth, but it looked different somehow. "Commander," Dr. Lee said quietly, "what you see here is the real reason the Council forbade entry to our system." Zethkar looked at the screen and felt his blood turn cold. The screen showed space around Earth, but it wasn't empty like Zethkar had expected. Hundreds of ships moved in perfect formations around the planet. These weren't the small vessels he had seen earlier. These were massive warships, each one larger than anything in the Council fleet. "This is our real defense force," Dr. Lee said quietly. "What you saw when you arrived was just a small welcoming party." Zethkar's 4 eyes went wide. "How many ships do you have?" "Enough," Minho replied simply. Captain Jiho stepped forward. "Commander, what you're seeing is the result of 200 years of preparation. We didn't just hide from the galaxy. We've been getting ready for the day when hiding would no longer be possible." Dr. Lee touched another control. The view expanded to show the entire solar system. Ships were everywhere. Some were so large they looked like moving cities. "The Council made their deal with us because they were afraid," Dr. Lee explained. "Not afraid of what we were, but afraid of what we might become." "They were right to be afraid," said a new voice. Everyone turned to see an older human man entering the room. He walked slowly but with great authority. The other humans stood straighter when they saw him. "This is Director Daeho Park," Minho said with respect. "He leads Earth's government." Director Park walked to the center of the room. His gray hair was perfectly neat and his dark eyes seemed to see everything. Commander Zethkar, Director Park said, "You asked earlier why we help other species. The answer is simple. We help them because we know what's coming." "What do you mean?" Zethkar asked. Director Park gestured to the screens around them. "For 200 years, we've been watching the galaxy grow and change. We've seen patterns that others have missed." A new image appeared on the main screen. It showed a map of the galaxy with different colored areas. "The Council thinks they control the galaxy," Director Park continued. "But they only control about 30% of known space. There are other powers out there. Dangerous powers." The map zoomed in to show the edge of known space. Beyond it was darkness marked with question marks. "We've detected movement in the dark areas," Dr. Lee said. "Ships, energy signatures, and communications that don't match any known species." "Something is coming," Director Park said seriously. "Something that will make the Council's past wars look like small arguments." Yix's tentacles trembled. "How do you know this?" "Because we've seen their scouts," Captain Jiho replied. 3 times in the past 10 years, unknown ships have entered our galaxy. They scan systems and then disappear back into dark space." "The Council doesn't know about this?" Zethkar asked. "The Council sees what they want to see," Director Park said. "They think their empire is safe and growing. They don't look beyond their borders." Dr. Lee brought up a new image. This one showed a strange ship unlike anything Zethkar had ever seen. It was dark and angular with technology that looked completely alien. "This is one of the scout ships we captured," she said. "The beings inside were unlike any species in our databases." "You captured one?" Zethkar breathed. "We've captured 3, Minho said. We learned their language and studied their technology. What we found was disturbing." Director Park walked closer to Zethkar. "These beings come from beyond our galaxy. They've been watching us for a very long time. They're planning something big." "What kind of plan?" Yix asked. "Invasion," Director Park said simply. "They want to take over our entire galaxy. Every planet, every species, every resource." The room became very quiet. Zethkar felt fear growing in his stomach. "When?" he asked. "Soon," Dr. Lee replied. "Our calculations suggest they'll arrive within the next 50 years. "So you've been preparing for a war," Zethkar realized. "We've been preparing to protect the galaxy," Director Park corrected, "including species that don't even know we exist." Minho walked to another screen. "This is why we revealed ourselves to you, Commander. The time for hiding is almost over." "What do you mean?" Zethkar asked. "Your ship entering our system wasn't an accident," Director Park said. "We've been watching your exploration corps for months. We guided you here." "Guided us?" Yix said in surprise. "Small adjustments to your navigation computers," Captain Jiho explained. "Tiny changes that made you curious about this sector. We needed someone from the galaxy to find us." "But why us?" Zethkar asked. "Because the Vorthak are respected explorers," Minho said. "When you tell other species what you found, here they will listen." Director Park moved to stand directly in front of Zethkar. "Commander, we need the galaxy to know the truth. The Council's isolation policy won't work much longer. When the invasion comes, we'll need every species working together." "You want us to tell the Council about you?" Zethkar asked. "We want you to tell everyone," Dr. Lee said. "The Council, the independent worlds, even the criminal organizations. Everyone needs to know what's coming." "And if they don't believe us?" Yix asked. Director Park smiled for the first time since entering the room. "Oh, they'll believe you, because we're going to give you proof they can't ignore." He gestured toward the screen showing Earth's massive fleet. "In 6 months, we're going to reveal ourselves to the entire galaxy. But first, we need time to prepare them." "Prepare them for what?" Zethkar asked. "For the day when humanity stops watching from the shadows," Director Park said, "and starts fighting for everyone's survival."